Hello you lovely people. Over the past few days we've seen the release of the IDF mods project's F-16I Sufa version 2. Now I'm going to give it a bit of a breakdown and just let you know what's what in the new version. So as you can see down here, we've got version 2.1. There were a few issues, so they had to change a few things and then re-release it. So I'll go into that in a second. But version 2, they've added the new external Indigo 3D model and textures. We've got the F-16 Delta Block 50 and Block 52. We've got the Delta Block 40 Barak. There's a new lantern pod 3D model. We now have the Iris-T missile, cockpit canopy reflections. There's a new background and loading screens for the actual DCS sim. We have a HTS pod for Sufa and F-16 Delta Block 50-52s. We've got data link intake antenna for all F-16 versions, which is optional, and now wing flex animation. Changes: the F-16 Indigo, Sufa and Delta cockpit lights are more bright during daytime for more realistic look. And fixes: in the cockpit we've got green backlights are always on for some panels, UFC green black lights not working, angle of attack bright control doesn't work, the vertical velocity indicator brightness control doesn't work, taxi and landing lights colour and shape, and the AGM-88 harm weapon page shows U for all SAMs, and the Charlie AI can't take off or fly with the ECM tail and conformal fuel tanks. So those have all been fixed. Now in the re-release in 2.1 we now have ladders for the Indigo Delta with or without conformal fuel tanks. We have the HGU-55 helmet 3D model option via livery. Fixes: sniper pod textures missing, gun position, parts missing in fuselage and cockpit view, fuel gauge showing 0 on total amount, the DED missing laser time delay, removed before flight, 3D models are not lined up correctly, SRS not working with F-16 Charlie and Delta Block 50-52 and Barak. Removed the install folder for easier use with OVGME, which is a lot easier to use. RWR threats are appearing outside the screen boundary. Pilot's 3D model size a bit too small, so they've been increased. Can't bind some controls on the F-16 Delta, and that's all been changed. When trying to add remove before flight, it adds ladders under CFT category. Now let's just close that. That was the change log. Now since its initial release back in August of last year, 2021, this mod has gone from just the F-16 Indigo Sufa to now fleshing out to, I believe, 4 or 5 different iterations of the F-16, which just goes to show how far they've come in that time, and the efforts behind it are phenomenal for a community mod, to be honest. So if you aren't a member of the Discord, I'll put the Discord in the description, but I recommend it. This is where you'll find the download link, IDF mods project, mods download, and then here it's on Mediafire, so unfortunately it may take a little while. Mine took a few hours just purely because it's a slow download on that site, and from there obviously it will take you to this website, which I'll provide that link in the description if you don't want to use Discord. 8.7 gigabytes, and just click that, it will download to your chosen folder, and here we have it here. And if we open that up, you can see we've got Delilah, F-16 Sufa, IRS-T, Python 5, Sniper Pod, Spice 1000, 2000 and the SRS fix for the Charlie Delta Block 5052 and Barak. Now we're going to close that. Those will go in the folder for your chosen mod system that you'll use. It'll either be JSGME or OVGME. I use JSGME, and it installs a folder in the core mods here, in which you'll drag everything that's in there into that folder to be activated. I've got it loaded here. As you can see, the folders that are in the zip or the RAR are all here, apart from the Sufa, which is already activated. And this is where you need to think about what you want to use on the aircraft, because certain weapons here will overwrite ones that are already existing on the Eagle Dynamics F-16 Charlie. So the two weapons that will be overwritten are the 2,000 pound JDAM penetrator, or the AGM 154A JSO, and the JDAM 2,000 pounder will be overwritten by the Spice 2000 if you choose to activate that, and the AGM 154A JSO will either be taken over by the Spice 1000 or the Delilah. You can't have both the Spice 1000 and the Delilah, you have to have one or the other. So like I say, you need to think about what you're going to be using. And then for the Adware Weapons, the weapon that will be overwritten is the AIM-9X, and you'll either choose the Python 5, which is a fantastic missile, I will say, or the IRS-T, which I've not got round to firing yet, but yeah, you'll either choose one of the three. You'll keep it as AIM-9X or Python 5 or IRS-T. So to activate those, obviously you put those across, so I'll stick the Python 5 across because I'm used to that, and I'll stick the Sniper Pod across, and Spice 2000, yes, let that load, and we'll put the Delilah over because it's different. So I've overwritten the AIM-9X, the JDAM 2000 pounder and the JSO AGM 154A, and I've now got Spice 2000, Delilah and the Python 5. So when I load up the sim, that's what will be for my weapon selection. So enough chat about the changes and things, so let's get into the sim and let's show you what it's all about. Now if that's installed correctly, if we scroll across the bottom here, you'll see that we've got F-16 Indigo Sufa, and it's all lit up nicely. We'll set the wallpaper, there we go. So we know that's definitely installed, so let's look at the mission editor. Okay, so I'm going to do a rundown of the variants that come with the mod before moving on to the weapons. So we've got 6 different versions that come with the mod. I know I'm only showing 5 here, but it'll become apparent in a minute. But we'll start with the Indigo. Go to configuration. The only problem is this is off center. I believe this is being sorted out for the next update. But the sheer amount of detail that's going into the Indigo for a free mod is just astounding. The level of research and dedication that's going into this is simply mind-blowing. So the model itself has been changed slightly, the liveries have been updated, as well as the flight model itself as well. So unfortunately I can't really show you any more without causing problems because of being off center. So we'll look at it more when we get into the aircraft itself. Next we'll look at the Barak Delta, this one just being a 2-seat variant of the F-16 Charlie Barak, and is multi-crew, so you can use it with your friends online. Next we'll look at the Barak itself, the single-seater. As you can see, we've got the choice of the Barak lights. We've got removable flight tags for everything in the ground option there. We can stick conformal fuel tanks on, but they're not the right colour, unfortunately. They're for the Charlie, Polish and Hellenic Air Forces. The tails can be changed, so you've got the choice of the Charlie, Norwegian, and as I say, Polish, Hellenic, that have got the ECMs and the parachutes. And then you've got two choices of Barak tail, so that can be chosen there. Then we've got the choice of either having the ECM in or not, as it doesn't have the ECM spine, unless they're contained within the base of the tail. I'm not sure if that would make any sense or not. And then we'll just quickly have a look at the stores that I've changed. So if we go into air-to-air missiles, obviously you've got your Python 5s instead of the AIM-9Xs. And if we come over to Station 7, which is where the changed ordnance will be hung from, if we go to air-to-ground missiles, got the Delilah, a cruise missile there, that sits on that pylon. Or we can go and we can change that to the 2,000 pound. It's still named the 2,000 pound penetrator JDAM, but it's not. It's Spice 2000, as you can see there. It looks completely different. But yeah, those will live on pylons 7 and 3. So if we can clear that. Okay, next I'm going to show you the Delta Block 50 and 52. These are both on the same aircraft selection. As you can see, got the Block 50 here and Block 52 there. And you can see there's not much difference. Unfortunately, there are no liveries at the moment. And then last but not least, we have the Charlie. And if we go into that, you can see I've already got the Polish one set up with the conformal fuel tanks and the ECM pod, and we can also change that. It comes with the Polish, and it also comes with the Hellenic livery, if I can find it. Okay, we're obviously going to have to change to Greece. That usually helps. And there you go. We've got the Greek variant. So yeah, those are the changes so far, and looking very good. Looking forward to flying this properly. So if we get into the jet proper now, I'll be flying the Indigo, as that is the major one that has all the changes. Let's jump in the cockpit. Okay, so we're in the front cockpit, and have a quick look around. You can see that the amount of detail that's going into this cockpit is absolutely amazing. You've got to remember that these guys have made these cockpits from the ground up. They're not using the Eagle Dynamics F-16 cockpit, so the fact that they've gone, and I really can't tell the difference between this and the Charlie, with obvious exception of the button labelling and the colour. I mean, I wouldn't notice much of a difference at all. I'm surprised that there's no Hebrew in the cockpit. If there is, I've missed it. I'm pretty sure I saw some before. We've got HUD symbology there. So yeah, I mean, front cockpit is as you would expect. If we jump into the back, as you'd expect, it's a little bit noisier. Again, the level of detail is fantastic, and yeah, like I say, you can't see any Hebrew in here anywhere. I'm pretty sure I've seen some previous versions, but yeah, and you've got to remember these cockpits work independently from each other. So if you're in multi-crew, the pilot can be piloting, Wizzo can be Wizzoing. If you've got your targeting pods and everything, you can be doing that from the back, while the pilot at the front could be in air-to-air mode, looking out for any enemy aircraft that could be heading that way. And it's a lot of fun, especially when you get a good crewmate with you as well. It's yeah, it can be a lot of fun. So I mean, I don't know what else they could really be adding to this. I mean, you've got your DED down there. Yeah, let's get this thing up in the air and see what differences there are there. Right, okay, so handling pretty good, very responsive. Oh, I've got some wing flex going on there. Very nice.
Altitude.
I mean, it feels different to the obvious Eagle Dynamics Charlie variant, which you'd expect, considering it's got a completely different flight model, but yeah, blimey. Very nice indeed. Let's get low.
Altitude. Altitude.
Hey. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you the outside view, because when I go to outside view, this is how far away I am. And oh, Jesus, that was close. Yeah, unfortunately, there's another issue with the view in game mode, where that is the closest you can get in F2. So again, it's still a work in progress, but Jesus Christ, this thing can really be flung about. Lovely stuff. So yeah, I will leave it there, as everything else really needs to be well, you really need to get your hands on it really to see how good this thing really is. So yeah, give the guys over on their Discord, if you use it, give them, you know, some feedback. Let them know if you appreciate it, or if there's anything they can add to it, and obviously give them a big thank you as well, because obviously this is a free mod. They're doing it in their free time. I know they get donations and things like that, but they're doing some fantastic work over there, and I can't wait for their 2C F-18 as well. That's going to be awesome. Right, okay, so I'm going to go to the moon, but I will leave it with you guys to check out. Take care. If you got this far, thank you, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.